Right, I think we're live. Hello everybody, we are live from outside Parliament and Downing Street on Whitehall. Today's been a chaotic day, but expected because Boris Johnson made the announcement that he's going to resign, but he's not going to resign anytime soon. As Prime Minister, of course, they have to go through the process. The Tory MPs, some of them wanted to push him out sooner, but John Major sending a letter to 1922 prevented that actually. He helped protect Boris Johnson. In the meantime, we are with Ollie Cooper, a very sound right-winger. What's going on? I mean, we've been seeing some of the obviously MPs and obviously right-wingers talking about leadership campaigns. There are some of them who are preparing to launch their campaigns. Liz Truss apparently is going back to London to launch. Penny Mordaunt hasn't really confirmed anything, but we know that she's probably preparing everything. Suella Braverman has announced on live TV, might be in a bit of an amateur move, but what are your thoughts anyway about the whole day and everything else?
I think what Suella showed in her announcement, it was quite surprised that it happened last night, is actually everyone that wants to stand needs to be showing what narrative, what direction, what momentum they're going to take this country in. Because whilst Boris made a large number of large calls right, what was really clear is there wasn't really that clear narrative, particularly on the economics issues, on tax cuts, on having a free market direction of the country. So there needs to be a showing of leg. There needs to be commitments made by anyone, not just that does stand, but is thinking of standing. It's really important they get that out now. Because making sure that people feel like it's not a wasted vote, but also making sure there's a sense of direction behind them, that's so important, otherwise they're out for the count straight away.
It is weird. I mean, we're going to have obviously some of the Brexiteer side saying we have to prevent all the Ramonas, the Jeremy Hunt and everything else. Tom Tugendhat apparently is there. Well, he's doing well. He's got 3 people back in. But we also have obviously some of the more establishment Tory side. I don't want to really say Sajid Javid is the same group, but it's still closer. Your Nadim Zahawis are going to run and all this. But does that mean that people like Liz Truss or Steve Baker, should they all be put in the same category, or can we see some impressive performances as leadership candidates from people like Liz Truss maybe? Does she have a chance?
Liz Truss obviously has a chance. She's one of the front runners and she's one of the clearest people with the clearest ideas of what she stands for, which is moving our country towards a more global Britain perspective, towards more free markets and towards a clearer narrative from the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party is the party of freedom. So clearly she's in with a chance because she's got that unique selling point. People like Steve Baker and others, they might have a chance, they might not, but just by entering the race, they might feel like they shape the agenda and get things onto the agenda that wouldn't otherwise be there. I think that's helpful, but at the end of the day, the field needs to be narrowed down to the real winners. Liz Truss is obviously one of those.
It is tricky because a lot of actual subscribers really like Lord David Frost. And is it true that if you want to have Lord Frost back in government in any capacity, it's more likely to have him back if you have someone like Liz Truss, for example, winning the leadership, right? Or something like that.
I'm not sure who's most likely, to be honest. Obviously, David Frost is a really valuable voice for the consistent application of freedom across a number of policy areas. So it's really important that he be listened to. Obviously, lots of different people will have lots of different considerations in those roles. And what you need to have is them articulating that message rather than trying to outsource it to individual picks they end up putting into their team, making sure they're making the argument from the get-go. It's what we haven't frankly had from Boris and Theresa May and David Cameron over recent years and decades. It's really important you have that in any future leader.
It's a good point, and thank you so much, Ollie, for coming on the show. But I think one of the main issues is that it could be a good opportunity because the Tories, for the past few years, probably a decade, they haven't really had the opportunity. Well, they had the opportunity, but they chose not to utilize it to go with the freedom conservative side of the spectrum. Maybe that means that the Tory party could basically be ready and hungry for it, but there's still a bit of an appetite inside the parliamentary party where the other candidates who want to keep what we call paternalistic conservatism, which was more like Theresa May sort of type and Macmillan types. But at the same time, we want to make sure that any right-winger who's going to win is not really just ideological and not competent. You want to have the perfect package or close enough to perfect package, and right now all the MPs and candidates and all the activists are going to run around for the next few weeks trying to demonstrate that, but we'll see if that's going to go well anyway. But we're going to go get a pint of beer, and because that's the most important thing in life.
For you, certainly.
and literally I'm going to switch off now because there's nothing else going on. They're going to get ready to bring down the wallpaper and go to Checkers and have fun. And the people in Parliament, are still in there hiding, plotting. Because the fact that no MP is still out yet, we saw a few of them earlier, that means they're all probably still in there having meetings to level up the country. Thank you guys so much. Out the media.